Hello, dear friends. I remember an elderly British lady who owned a hotel in Calcutta, repeating the same religious mantra, "Give me dollars," every day to ask me for American Express traveler checks. What is wrong with water when it is blessed so much? Opinion piece. Don't stop the music. No one can stop it. Banks without funds. Global insolvency. Running out of money. Assetless economy. They don't know what to invent. Turmoil will bring peace. Banks are the obstacle. They fight for survival. End of soft disclosure. Big fish eat little fish. Big banks eat small banks. UBS takeover of Credit Suisse confirmed. Bank customers doubt the safety of their money. Let's start. In quotes, you can't stop the music. No one can stop the music. Take the spark of love. Make the rain fall. Because that's easier to do. The sound is getting louder and louder. Music when we play. When we kneel to pray. There is music in the sound of the wind. You can't stop the music. Close quotes. Can't Stop the Music is the sixth album by the Village People, released in 1980. The album served as the soundtrack of the film of the same name. No music without money. In quotes, no money, no money, no money, no money. Without money, there is no rock and roll. Without money, you couldn't be a star, and you can't even get into a concert without money. No car, no date, no girls, no money. Thinking of a way to get it, you jump, run, and scream. No money, no money, no money. Close quotes. This track by the Spanish band Cheryl was a blast in the 80s, new wave pop. We know a lot of old rockers who are poor as rats and have more fun than a barrel of disco balls. Insolvency. According to Judy Pinkton, the banks are collapsing because nobody knows the real money that exists in each country or the real debts of each government or nation. 90% of banks have no real money in stock to give a person more than $1 million in cash. They only have daily transfers of funds between shops and banks and ATMs. They are clamoring for whatever money they can get their hands on at the moment and are hiding. The world banks do not have the funds to finance the banks or the world banking systems and pay the debts or the health industries or the government sectors. They are running out of money to pay for the troll regime they created and control, so they are activating the infrastructure and the backup system. So nowadays, the big banks of the world are eating all the small banks. The big fish eats the little fish in the law of the sea. That's why they try to install the central banking digital currency system and try a world banking control through such a system that would hide corruption and control innocent citizens. The digital system would not allow anyone to talk about corruption under the threat of blocking your own money, and would only allow you to buy essential things. You would not be able to withdraw much money without the approval of the central bank. Consent. Bank customers doubt the safety of their money after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. On Twitter, many users have expressed concern about whether they should withdraw their assets as a precautionary measure. For example, one account tweeted, in quotes, "We should all withdraw everything from our bank accounts to keep our money safe. I have convinced all my family and some friends and co-workers that this is the most sensible option." Close quotes. This is not my opinion, because the good news is that since the 2008 financial crisis, countries have put in place regulations to protect the money people have in their accounts. All European Union countries must ensure a minimum of €100,000 per customer per bank. In the US, people are insured up to $250,000. In the UK, bank customers are protected up to £85,000. News. Breaking news. UBS buys Credit Suisse for nearly $3.25 billion to calm turmoil. The merger of UBS and Credit Suisse may lead to massive layoffs. Treasuries fall after Credit Suisse deal. Bank of England welcomes Credit Suisse deal. Oil rises after historic deal with Swiss banks. Failed Signature Bank to be absorbed by New York Community Bancorp. First Citizens emerges as a possible suitor for Silicon Valley Bank. Investors say the banking crisis is far from over. Central banks try to calm the market. Central banks open the dollar tap to held banks. The Fed increases global dollar liquidity. Two major European banks turn to regulators to cap the risk of contagion. Elon Musk wants to eliminate tax breaks for billionaires. Saudi Arabia wants to trade in currencies other than the dollar. Violent eruption of Italy's Stromboli volcano. Dozens arrested on the third day of riots against pension cuts in France. German government has paid journalists more than $1.5 billion over the past 5 years for media support services to the authorities, according to an official document. The Ecuadorian government announces a state of emergency following the 6.5 magnitude earthquake at the weekend, which killed 40 people and injured 4,061 others, as well as causing extensive material damage. Researchers in Finland have developed tiny fairy-like robots that can fly, which could help pollinate vital crops around the world. CERN is a time machine, not for time travel but for information. Messages. According to Blossom Gottchild, the turmoil that is emerging will bring peace. Once one is in the midst of what is coming, it is not something that will engulf the planet for years and years. Once the truth is revealed and the people calm down, the door will open once again. We cannot give a time frame, but when everything is in motion, it will run smoothly according to the divine plan. The Soft Disclosure is Over by James McConnell. Everyone around you is losing their minds, feeling the fear, just as the task forces would have you do. But those of you who have eyes to see and ears to hear know that it is better not to feel the fear, not to feel the panic that you are beginning to feel more and more, because you know that the path is open in front of you. Keep moving forward step by step. Don't go backwards. Do not allow fear to arise within you, for there is certainly nothing to fear except fear itself. You are on the verge of many changes, and as you look to the heavens and see the ships, the forces of darkness can do nothing to prevent the truth, the full disclosure, from coming forth. The soft disclosure has come to an end. You are about to see the full truth coming forth from many different sources. As I say, you are on the verge of many changes in the world. Message from Mike Kinsey. By now, you should have realized that what is happening on Earth is a sign of major changes, a sign that major changes are taking place and will continue to do so until it is ready for ascension. What was acceptable during the last cycle is no longer appropriate at any time when changes are needed to lift you up, and this will continue over the years. You are currently experiencing a period of change that is difficult, but there will be a turning point for the better in the very near future. So stand firm and do not despair, as your patience will be well rewarded. Puffiness said, "Make sure you are not listening to the fear-mongering crowd, and stay away from the dramatists who want nothing more than to keep you upset and nervous. None of that news is the real news anyway. Rest assured that the white hats are still at work, and that the thrilling changes you can see are like the fires of change in action. They are manipulating the truth you seek, and the efforts to restrict, the efforts to uncover true and authentic leadership continue. Those who want to work for truth are under pressure from those who do not want to lose what they have divided amongst themselves. It is still going on, but fragmentation has divided some of the resources. There are forces still working for the good of the whole. Things can start to move by taking the pressure off and getting a few more banks out of the way. Banks are the main obstacle to all this. They are struggling to survive, and things are not going well for them. Just know that the power of good visualization and prayer in the right format has kept all this alive. Hang in there, don't give up, follow the bouncing ball, follow the money, and when it dries up, you may have a little flow coming your way. Keep projecting that it will be all happen this year. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.